Exactly what are you apologizing for?
I hurt people.
How did you hurt them?
The reactions of people to my statements, which were very contrary to what I was trying to communicate.
So are you apologizing because of the reaction people had to your statements?
I caused that reaction, certainly not intentionally. I made clumsy statements.
So what was clumsy about what you said?
I'm sorry, excuse me.
What was clumsy about what you said?
I believe that what I was thinking.
No, what was clumsy about what you said?
I was addressing a narrow issue of the statistics needed to show a violation of federal law in a very clumsy tone, the tenor of my remarks.
So you're apologizing for your tone?
I am apologizing that my tone caused this. I believe that I am responsible.
So the problem is the tone?
I certainly had a bad tone and clumsiness to this.
Is it true that minorities die soon so that the voter ID laws just don't affect older people of color the same way that they do other people?
I never, ever meant to suggest.
I don't know what you're apologizing for. You say that you were right, but your tone was wrong. I don't know what you're saying you're sorry for. Could you please help me understand, if you're claiming that you're statistically correct, why are you apologizing? Are you trying to just curry favor?
I'm not. I feel that if I make remarks that people misinterpret.
So people misinterpreted what you said.
I apologize for that.
Now, wait a minute. You said, I'm sorry, did people misinterpret what you said?
I believe I said it in a way that did not communicate effectively.
Minorities don't become elderly the way white people do. Is that true?
I think that is clumsily stated.
Is it true?
People age in the same way.
Right. My dad's almost 80.
Absolutely. And
he's black.
I don't mean to suggest that there are not elderly people or that they are not.
And what does it matter? What difference does it make whether the statistics, what does that matter to the individual voter?
It matters not at all to the individual voter.
So your statement was also irrelevant. Is that true?
The statement was addressing a specific assertion related to law enforcement.
Basically, your statement that minorities don't become elderly the way white people do has no relevance to whether an individual voter ID bill should apply to minorities or seniors. Isn't that right? Just doesn't matter. So if it doesn't matter, why are you making the point?
I was trying to address how I ran the presumptions that I made.
Right, presumptions
that I made.
Presumptions, which is similar to the word assumptions.
Right.
Which is similar to the concept of stereotype.
I had assumed.
Right. Let me ask you this. What's a poll tax?
A poll tax is a requirement that someone purchase or pay a tax solely for the purpose of voting.
Does the 24th Amendment speak to poll taxes?
It does.
What does it say about it?
I would do not have the text of the amendment.
I didn't ask you for the text. What does it say about it? I didn't ask you for the text. What does it say about it?
It bans the poll taxes.
And so as a poll tax is a fee that is required for a voter to pay before they can vote, right? Yes or no?
Yes, a poll tax would be such a fee.
What's the cost of getting an ID for a person who doesn't have it in, say, Georgia?
The IDs are available without cost.
Okay, so there's no cost to it. What about the information you need to get an ID?
At the present time, there's no cost, as I understand.
No one has to pay. So Georgia IDs are free to all people. Is that right?
Georgia now has a free ID available in every county to voters.
So you don't have to pay. So I can go into Georgia and say I want an ID, and nobody's going to ask me to pay anything.
I forget the precise things, but there's no fee. And the case,
Yeah, and this is in regard to income or anything. They're just free.
at the present time, yes.
Okay.
Previously, there had been an indigency requirement.
So the Secretary of State, the state of Georgia just foots the bill on that?
I don't know how the bill.
What about in Indiana? Is it free there?
I'm not familiar with Indiana.
Last question.
One last question.
Arizona.
I'm not familiar with Arizona.
The
Maybe we'll get a chance to come back.
time of the gentleman has expired. We